Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the weekly forecast for the collective for the week ahead. So let's talk about these intense energies, guys. We have a very big week ahead. We have Mercury re-entering into Aquarius. We have the Sun square the North Node. We also have that Mars-Venus conjunction the morning of the full moon in Leo. On Thursday, we have Jupiter sextile Uranus, and then on Friday, the Sun is going to enter into Pisces. So get ready for a lot of intense energies to come to the surface when it comes to the week ahead, when it comes to preparing for these union energies. So let's talk about Monday. We have Mercury re-entering into Aquarius. So many of us have been experiencing a lot of delays, a lot of challenges, setbacks, obstacles, especially, that last half of January. So I kind of feel this energy of this much awaited resolution coming forward, coming to the surface now that Mercury is re-entering into Aquarius. So I think, the energy has been quite frustrating recently. And I kind of feel now we're kind of understanding the reason why and what we need to do to put in the effort to have long-term results moving forward for the betterment. So, how the saying goes, good things always come to those who wait. So with Mercury entering into Aquarius in the 6th house of Capricorn at 14 degrees 51, we also have several other planets joining Mercury in the 6th house. So this is very important when it comes to preparing for that Mars-Venus conjunction on Wednesday. We have Venus in Capricorn at 15 degrees 56, Mars in Capricorn at 15 degrees 38. We have Pluto in Capricorn at 27 degrees 22. And we also have the Fortune in the 6th house in Capricorn at 23 degrees 42. So basically we have this massive Capricorn stellium in the 6th house as Mercury re-enters into Aquarius. So when we think about the 6th house, it is the house of learning by material transactions. So positive key words when it comes to Mercury in Aquarius is different, original, inventive, innovative, quirky, and uniqueness. When we think of the negative side of Mercury in Aquarius, you might have been feeling very much aloof, a lot of inconsistencies. You might be feeling misunderstood, which likely will put the energy a bit on edge. So with Mercury moving back through Aquarius, this is going to bring forward a lot of philosophical and a lot of spiritual revelation. So it's kind of time to remove yourself emotionally in order to bring forward rational and clear thinking. So I do feel this strong, progressive, imaginative energy coming forward that is going to help fuel our creativity and all of our spiritual, philosophical pursuits moving forward. So, I think we need to practice detaching the emotions from our thoughts in order to bring forward the way that we speak and communicate, thoroughly. So with Mercury transiting through the 6th house, we're going to really be focused on paying attention when it comes to our health and our work. So I think the difficult aspects are going to bring forward a lot of anxious nervousness when it comes to worrying about something, when it comes to getting something done. And all of this deep-seated anguish and fear, I feel, is appearing in the masculine's world this week, causing a lot of physical tension in his outer realities. So I kind of feel it's kind of time for the masculine to really focus on his health and to recognize what is happening when it comes to the detriment of his health with all of these energies coming up to be dealt with. So I feel the masculine's really going to have to find the rational source to all of this disease in his life when it comes to the energies this week. With Venus in the 6th house, this is going to bring forward a health-conscious mindset, especially when it comes to love, relationships, self-improvement, and our work structures. So you think of Venus, the feminine energy. Venus truly does signify beauty, art, pleasure, and attractiveness. So when Venus decides to grace that 6th house energy, it really does produce a fondness and an interest in restoring your health to its optimal ability. We also have Mars, like I said, in that 6th house. So Mars energy in the 6th house is really pushing the masculine when it comes to these daily tasks to improve his health, his overall health. So I kind of feel a lot of the masculines are going to be finding that fighting spirit, that energy, to find that boldness and that courage to take action when it comes to this heightened passion, this heightened energy. With Pluto transiting the 6th house with all of these energies, you really need to be careful not to self-sacrifice yourself, especially during this transit, because Pluto in this house is bringing the desire to step into selflessly helping others. But are you willing to do that when it comes to your own detriment? So we kind of got to release this self-sacrificing energy to not overdo it. And I feel with Pluto in the 6th house, this really is triggering a lot of the divine masculines to overcome this past pain, these past disappointments, because the energy is really going to be hypersensitive, especially with the fortune in the 6th house. So, you know, great satisfaction always comes from stepping into fulfillment, using your time and your energy properly, and realizing that perhaps it's time to return to a situation from the past that is needing resolution when it comes to these negative emotions, when it comes to the masculine feeling completely defeated, but playing into all of these excuses when it comes to taking action and restoring a sense of balance. So with the Capricorn stellium, it's really putting this spotlight on all of these 6th house matters that are coming up to be addressed when it comes to health and healing. So I kind of feel it really is time for the masculine to stand up and pay back all of these past karmic debts when it comes to these past life timelines that we came here to transmute and ascend. So I do feel a lot of enemies are working against the masculine, creating all kinds of obstacles to try and hinder his progress. So I also feel with that aspect on Monday, the very most affected signs are going to be Gemini, Leo, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. So where do you have those placements in your natal chart? So if you have them in your sun, your moon, your rising, your Venus, your Mercury, your Mars, and especially that North Node energy, get ready to feel this energy quite intensely on Monday. Then we move into Tuesday, and we're going to have the sun square the North Node. So this is going to be very, very intense energy, especially with the sun's placement in the 8th house. So it's really triggering our strong will to survive and to transform our self-identity. I think it's about overcoming a lot of crisis and hardship energy. I do feel many of the masculines are going to be met with an existential crisis in order to drive them towards healing and rebuilding themselves stronger, to overcome all of these, you know, false weaknesses, vulnerabilities, all of these obstructions and impediments really are to serve the masculine's spiritual evolution. So in the 8th house, the sun is seeking to cultivate this spiritual journey, this deep-seated emotional wealth, as opposed to material wealth when you think of the 2nd house. So, you know, the yin and the yang. So I do feel a lot of challenges and tribulations are coming up that are threatening the masculine's ego in order to break down that ego. So all of these challenges, I feel, is teaching the masculine's ego to learn to fortify itself, to overcome these difficulties through the heart. So I do feel a major catalytic event for many of the masculines in order to get them pointed towards growth. So I kind of feel there's a lot of debts that are coming up to be addressed when it comes to liabilities from the past in order to fuel the enhancement of this ego death, in order for the masculine to return to a healthy state of self-worth. So I feel the energy is going to feel very destined, very fated, especially when we have any North Node aspects. And it's about learning to overcome all of these challenges, you know, to release control. I kind of feel the masculine's been all tied up in a very toxic situation. And this really is stemming to that, you know, authority figure from his childhood that really, you know, did not teach the masculine how to step into his full powers. So I think a lot of the key energies coming up with the sun in the 8th house on Tuesday is your need to control. Why do you need to control everything in your life? I think get ready for a lot of self-awareness to come to the surface. Self-healing is going to be in focus. And I feel this magnetic draw towards the feminine and this resiliency of not wanting to come forward, I think is really going to get the masculine into this depth of perception. And to kind of highlight where the masculine has been very shrewd and defensive when it comes to opening up his heart. So, you know, the 8th house is the house of transformation and debt. So, you know, and the 8th house is associated with that scorpionic energy. Scorpio is the ruler of the 8th house and Pluto. So I kind of feel death, underworld transformation coming up, major power shift and changes in the divine masculine's life that he's going to have to grapple with this week. He's going to have to find his strength and his resources to kind of zero out this past life karmic debt. So with the sun in the 8th house, this really is going to stimulate the masculine needing to withdraw from all of these low-grade energies, all of these, you know, prideful energies that he's kind of been sitting in. You know, a lot of these masculines have been very egotistical, and I think it's time for them to release that pride. A lot of these masculines have gotten one over on many people without others noticing. You know, all of this secretive and manipulative behavior. And I think the masculine is about to, you know, get blasted out of the water when it comes to all of this cunning energy. When it comes to all of these, you know, hidden truths underneath the surface that really has eluded the masculine. And I feel this is coming up to be addressed tenfold, especially with the sun in the 8th house in Aquarius. So, you know, the masculine kind of is being pushed into owning his personal power when it comes to his original source of identity. So, you know, the masculine really has avoided paying back this karmic debt. Although he is indebted, I feel, you know, the masculine, in order to step into that constructive freedom, he's kind of going to have to pay back that karmic debt this week. So I think the masculine really is very financially vulnerable this week, which really is going to highlight where the masculine has been driven when it comes to money, greed. With the sun square the north node, it's basically, you know, the sun is like the ego, and then the north node is your true karmic path to clear all of this karmic debt. So, you know, this is like an opposition. A square is similar to an opposition where, you know, it's this power struggle. So I kind of feel the masculine, although he does appear confident on the outside, he really doesn't have a lot of self-worth on the inside. So I kind of feel this is where the masculine is being asked to step into his soulful mission with the divine feminine. You know, the masculine really has self-sacrificed. And it's kind of time for the masculine to step into putting forward that considerable contribution to the world when it comes to these higher contracts. So I think the masculine has been so ego-driven, which really has created all of these difficulties achieving his goals, because we're supposed to be heart-centered driven. So I think the masculine really is going to be submerged into this ego energy in order for them to release all of that false leadership energy and to kind of expand their consciousness. So I feel the masculine is going to be forced to shed the ego once and for all. And I know this has taken longer than we have thought it was going to take. And I feel the feminine really has that gift for capturing the true essence of this connection. So I do feel the masculine really is going to be met with all kinds of karmic obstacles and oppositions when it comes to honoring his authentic self-expression. So I think this is a big week of the masculine learning how to step into his life purpose, how to acknowledge all of this soul growth, because the North Node is going to be in the 11th house. So I kind of feel a lot of struggles within the social circle. You know, the masculine has craved and sought approval from others, and they've allowed that to be the focus of their self-identity, worrying about what other people think of them. So I kind of feel the masculine is deeply seeking to feel like he belongs somewhere. The masculine doesn't like to be alone. They fear being alone because when they're alone, then they actually have to look at themselves. So I feel a lot of the masculine social skills are very much underdeveloped. And with the North Node in the 11th house, this position is going to really highlight the masculine's unwillingness to compromise. And, you know, the masculine really doesn't like to do things for other people. It's always been very ego, self-centered, driven actions that the masculine has taken. So I kind of feel all of this stubborn energy really is going to be highlighted, and it's going to be hard for other people to want to tolerate that kind of, you know, energy from the masculine. So I do feel a lot of negative manifestations coming up in that energy when it comes to the masculine's arrogance, how people are going to be responding to his arrogance. I do feel the masculine is feeling very threatened this week, like kind of backed into a corner. And I do think there's going to be a lot of dramatic upsets for the masculine this week in order to get him to open up the heart. You know, I feel the masculine is deeply hurting. He doesn't want everybody to know about it, but I kind of feel the karmic's about to like really blast the masculine socially. I feel a lot of social upsets when it comes to this life lesson for the divine masculine this week. So I do feel many of the masculines are feeling energetically drained, very insecure. They're acting in very childish ways this week. They're very boastful. Egocentric energies really are going to bring all of this failure and all of this crashing down energy, because when we look at the North Node in the 11th house, then we're going to have the South Node in the 5th house. So I feel the energy really is putting us all back into that fall of the South Node. So don't fall into those temptations this week, because this is very intensive growth that is taking place. When we can start to seek with what we can give others from a place of heart-centered service, that's when we can really dive into our creative side and bring that into the collective. We all have a huge asset to bring forward. So I feel this is the masculine really learning to master his 5th house as well when it comes to helping people, stepping into service. So I think love affairs are going to be exposed in the energy. It really is going to, you know, trigger all of these past energies that the masculine had with the feminine when it comes to that passionate, strong pull in this lifetime. And I kind of feel, you know, the feminine's really boosted in her self-confidence, and the masculine really is seeking that wanting to be loved by the feminine again. So with the lunar nodes, it's always about soul growth and evolution. And I kind of feel, you know, with these being directly opposite, it's really going to create a lot of celestial energies when it comes to the karmic baggage that kind of needs to be cleared. So I feel a lot of challenges when it comes to, you know, all kinds of areas in the divine masculine's life in order to get him to step into this newness, to kind of step into evolving and stepping into that North Node. So Wednesday is going to be the biggest day this week, I feel, for the energies. We're going to have Mars-Venus conjunction on the exact same day as that Leo full moon. So Mars conjunct Venus really is going to have a profound, long-lasting effect when it comes to romantic relationships. It's going to be intensely passionate, and I feel this strong desire for love and affection is really coming up to the surface. I feel the masculine has this deep sexual urge to really be intimate with the feminine, which is causing all kinds of friction in the false karmic contracts. So this level of intensity is going to be very hard for the masculine to control. And it is going to really expose where the masculine's heart has always belonged to the feminine, triggering, you know, endings when it comes to affairs. And let's face it, emotional affairs are a real thing. And the masculine has been connected to the feminine telepathically this whole time, and he's been hiding it. And I feel this really is going to be the final explosion when it comes to this magnetic attractiveness that is drawing the masculine towards the feminine. So I think there's going to be an existential crisis that day. And I kind of feel this deep desire for this intimate relation with the feminine is going to no longer be able to be ignored, is kind of what I feel. So it is very raw. It is very aggressive energy. And I do feel this really is when the masculine is really going to have that higher heart activation. We also have Mars and Venus conjunct the 10th house. So the 10th house really is our midhaven. It's all about the work we're meant to do this life. So it really is pushing the masculine out of those unhealthy materialistic ways. You know, a lot of these masculines like to live the luxurious life, the materialistic life. They've been very submissive to the ego, which in turn, you know, success has eluded them when it comes to this materialistic driven energy. So I kind of feel this is where, you know, we find that middle ground when it comes to all of these opposing energies that we have been kind of integrating during separation. Mars symbolizes personal energy, courage, that driving force to kind of push the divine masculine forward, to fight for his rights, to fight for his rightful place. You think of Mars, I think of Aries, the god Aries. And, you know, I feel, you know, proper masculinity of men is really coming up to be addressed. And when it comes to Venus, Venus is all about creation, you know, relation, peacefulness, grace, beauty, love. The divine feminine has all of these qualities that the masculine really has been looking for. So I feel the energy really is conducive when it comes to, you know, finding that balance between all of these differences. You know, the masculine has been seeking to kind of dominate and rule over the feminine, and that is not how these connections work. So, you know, normally Mars would be the masculine energy, although you don't have to be a man to be a divine masculine. It's not about gender here. So that's not what it's about. So I feel this initiation energy as the masculine, you know, tries to conquer all of these elements coming up to be addressed this week. In order to release the need to dominate in relationships. So I think the masculine's really going to be disturbed when it comes to his equilibrium this week, creating major conflicts. And I feel with the feminine, you know, representing the Venus energy, it is this energy of being the seducer. So it's like the feminine kind of stepping into mastery when it comes to attracting the masculine back. And I'm sure the divine masculine has noticed you by now, divine feminine. So I kind of feel the feminine is the one that's created this equilibrium, this harmony, which really is creating all of these disturbing energies in the masculine when it comes to, you know, trying to dominate and playing into all of these ego impulses. So it's kind of like the energy of war and love. So there's a lot of physical attraction towards the feminine this week. And there always has been, but it wasn't enough to keep these connections going. And that's why we enter into separation, because we can't sustain these connections with somebody dominating the other. It creates all kinds of power struggles. So I feel a lot of passion being restored. And I feel a lot of the feminines might be a little bit resistant to the masculine this week. But I do feel this calming energy will eventually take place as all of this fiery passion energy kind of simmers down. So I think the masculine really needs to understand how to act more softly, how to lean into his feminine energies. I do think a lot of hurt feelings this week when it comes to closing out the karmic contracts in order to step into valuing relationships from the heart center. So I also feel feminines, you need to learn to take appropriate actions. You also need to learn how to say no and not to let the masculine energy dominate and use you, because that is not a healthy exchange of energies. And then we have the Leo full moon, which is called the full snow moon. So you think of snow. I always think of Frozen, the movie Frozen. And so I kind of feel this is going to be a very, very interesting full moon energy. It's kind of the bridge between all of these energies we've been going through since the beginning of 2022. So, you know, we started off with all of this Capricorn energy when it comes to rules, regulations, bureaucracy, authority figures, and all of that good stuff. And, you know, Mercury is blazing forward very strongly in Aquarius at this time. And I kind of feel with this transformational Pluto energy aspecting this full moon, it's going to be very, very intense. So I also feel anything that was hidden below the surface is coming up to be addressed. Any manipulative, deceitful behavior is coming up. You cannot bury the shame forever. You cannot overlook the shame. So I feel a lot of the masculines have been in this deep, dark process of the dark night of the soul in order to acknowledge personally and collectively where they have abused their authority. And I feel this has gone on for many, many lifetimes. This collective transformation has also been going on for many decades. So I feel this catalyzed energy that we went through in January 2022 by that Saturn-Pluto conjunction is really going to kick off full steam. So I feel there's kind of two phases taking place with this Leo full moon. One, where we're coming into that first round of unions, which will also signify a huge collective dark night of the soul. So with Venus and Mars conjunct, this is the twins, the cosmic lovers, coming together at this full moon. So I kind of feel with all of these recent retrogrades we've been going through, and with this Leo full moon, this really is that karmic reset when it comes to that grand conjunction in December in 2020. I know many of us had those visions, put in the work when it comes to that grand conjunction. And this full moon really is the culmination of everything we've been manifesting since that grand conjunction in December of 2022. And I'm being shown like the Star of David. So, you know, this Leo full moon really is the closure, the ending of all kinds of things related to financial, governmental, and business matters, especially when it comes to the karmic contract. So as we move deeper into March and April, we will be stepping into this newness. So you think of Leo. I always think of lion, the lion tribe of Judah, confidence, courage, self-expression. So this really is the time where this light is kind of being shed into the collective in order for us to finally open up our hearts to all of our creative gifts, all of our spiritual talents, and to be brave enough to share them with others. The energy really is asking us to connect to others from the heart level, to be willing to take that risk, to feel inspired again. We also have this full moon exactly quincux to Pluto. So the depth of this heart energy really is transformative. And we kind of have to address this energetic spectrum of energies coming forward at the highest capacity. So it's going to be very difficult energies to work through when it comes to uniting again with your counterpart. So you might want to, you know, practice grounding and harnessing all of these energies, because it's going to come in very passionately, very quickly, very heavily. So you're going to need to be mindful when it comes to how these energies kind of surface. So I think over the next couple weeks, it's about stepping into our authentic self-expression without a doubt, being true to who we are. I feel this really is an opportunity for the masculine to act in a mature and thoughtful way towards the divine feminine. So this is really going to illuminate a lot of Leo placements. So do pay attention to where Leo is in your chart and how this is going to affect you. So this basically is the culmination of what we manifested that new moon in Aquarius. So this really is kicking off, is kind of what I feel. So it's like this pivot point. And I feel the energy really is reminding us that we kind of need to embrace this collective change when it comes to self-development, when it comes to our authentic selves, when it comes to our work lives and existing within social structures and political structures. So when we combine Saturn with this energy, it's like this visionary impulse coming through. And it's about being able to translate the energies into words. So I kind of feel the energy really is going to be extra heightened this week. And the full moon in Leo is at 27 degrees 19. So I feel this grand finale energy coming up, where many of the masculines will be called to take that big risk and to rely on their faith, especially over the upcoming months. On Thursday, the 17th, we come out of that full moon energy and we go right into Jupiter, sextile Uranus, and I actually heard Zeus in my head, so that might mean something to somebody. So When Jupiter forms a sextile to Uranus, this is big, big changes, without a doubt. So you better get ready and open up to these new energies, these new approaches, and these new attitudes, because a lot of events are going to unfold as a direct result of your openness and your willingness to think outside of the box. So I feel during this transit, we're going to have a lot of rapid view changes when it comes to the way that we look at the world, when it comes to our humanitarian efforts. With Jupiter in Pisces, that is going to bring a lot of sentimental energies to the surface. But when it forms a sextile to Uranus, we detach from that energy. So we're more apt to kind of embrace these changes, you know, releasing the emotions from the equation. So, you know, it's kind of breaking free from that comfort zone, those non-traditional ways of doing things, opening up this brand new world. And now they're showing me the Aladdin, a whole new world scene. So, you know, be ready to embrace new, unusual ways of doing things, because we are kind of here to help and inspire others to break out of that programmed belief box. So I think this aspect really is going to bring out the best in us, and it's going to allow us to recognize the best in others. We all have unique talents. We all have unique gifts. We cannot be compared to anybody else. So it is about stepping into your spiritual energies when it comes to profit, businesses, and kind of bringing forward those new approaches when it comes to building industries for the future. So Jupiter is going to be transiting the 6th house. So this is going to spark that deep desire for growth and expansion when it comes to your job, your daily habits, your diet, your health. So it really is a great week to improve your health, to, you know, get grounded in a healthy daily routine that's going to enhance this growth for years to come. So health really is going to be in focus this week with all of that heart energy. With Uranus transiting the 9th house, this is going to bring up a lot of instability in our personal lives and on a global scale. So unexpected events are likely to happen in order for us to embark on something new. When I think of Uranus in the 9th house, I think of independent thinking, having that progressive outlook, unorthodox views coming up. It's like embracing your engineering cosmic mind. So this is going to spark sudden movement, I feel, moving, and it is like discovering love from the inside out. So Uranus in the 9th house transit is definitely a time of instability, especially on a global scale. So I feel you're going to have to be ready to take the next step, whatever it takes to kind of attain that higher degree of knowledge. With Uranus in the 9th house in Taurus, that's a lot of Taurus energy, and Taurus is all about the heart, the home, the hearth of the home. And I feel this really is where the masculine dedicates his life to this spiritual study, to embracing this spiritual knowledge. And I feel I'm bringing forward all of that deep information into the collective. So I feel a lot of exploration. This might even spark some journalistic natures within you too, Divine Feminine, when it comes to all of these insights that we're here to share for the betterment of humanity. It is a very mythical energy coming through. On February the 18th, we have the sun entering Pisces. So happy birthday to all of my Pisces out there. So let's talk about this Pisces energy. I'm a Pisces rising. So people born under the sign of Pisces are kind of like people born under the sign of Aquarius. The two planets kind of interchange. And with Pisces and Jupiter, this is really sparking a sense of justice. Where have you been treated unjust, unfair? I think a lot of this is coming into our conscious awareness. And Neptune is also in Pisces. So this is really going to bring up a lot of complications when it comes to, you know, the veil of illusion. So I think the energy really is going to be hypersensitive as the sun enters into Pisces on Friday. You might find it very difficult to communicate with people. You might find it hard to kind of do anything that day. Pisces is a very watery energy. So, you know, people born under the sign of Pisces have many inhibitions, and it's kind of time to force them to develop regular habits, to get rid of any unnecessary fears. So it is about embracing qualities that will help this change. I kind of feel a lot of the energies really is going to highlight where you've been codependent in your home environment. You know, because we want to feel safe. We want to feel comfortable in our home life, but it's also going to shatter illusions when it comes to the false contract. Although Pisces is an incredibly imaginative sign, it can also, you know, fall victim to a lot of illusions. So I feel the energy really is influencing, you know, a lot of imaginative energy, but, you know, the detriment of the sun entering into Pisces is going to give way to deception, deceit, and lies. So you're really going to have to use your discernment that day, especially with the sun in the 10th house. So, you know, I really feel a lot of scandal and disgrace coming up for the masculine. There's going to be a lot of public exposure when it comes to where the masculine has abused his authority and his power and has not taken responsibility for, you know, this higher pathway when it comes to his spiritual career. So I kind of feel the masculine really is up for a very challenging week ahead with the energies. So let's jump in with some cards and see what else needs to come through for the week ahead. We will start off with, I don't even know what deck this is, the Shaman's Dream. Look at that, bottom of the deck, guys. The Fortune's Wheel. So I think the timing is right for these connections to come together, because I do feel they're definitely, we're resonating at the same frequency with the whale song. So, you know, the twins share that same core frequency. So I kind of feel as the feminine kind of reaches that state of alignment, that is what is going to allow the masculine to restore the telepathic connectivity, to be brave enough to come forward, because, you know, the masculines refuse the call. A lot of the feminines have been in alignment, resonating at that 144 frequency for quite some time. And I feel this thieving energy coming up to be addressed when it comes to the karmic contract. So there's that resonating, really wants to stick out. So I think the perfect storm is coming up this week in order for the masculine to step into this new life. But let's see what else needs to come through for the divine masculine for the week ahead. What else do we need to be aware of when it comes to the divine masculine's energy? Yeah, so it's kind of like that straddling worlds, and that perfect storm really wanted to come out. So it really is time for this perfect cosmic clash of energies in order to get the masculine to stop this straddling energy, so we can kind of step into that new beginning, you know, that is from that Aquarius new moon. So I feel definitely movement this week on the masculine's end. He's been straddling his old life and this connection for quite some time. And I do feel the feminine really is stepping into all of these limitless possibilities when it comes to, you know, taking that step forward on her journey. So I do feel the feminines are coming into some kind of benefacting energy, windfall, or an inheritance of some sort, as the feminine really taps into these limitless possibilities. So I think as the feminine boldly steps into her purpose, this creates that curiosity to be sparked in the masculine's world. Pardon me, guys. Actually, speaking of health, I quit smoking 2 days ago. And it's been going a little rough, but I'm doing it. So, you know, health really is in focus. That was my last negative vice when it comes to addictive behaviors that I really needed to release. So, you know, I've been feeling really good. It's been a challenge, but we are here to kind of release anything, you know, codependent. So what do you need to release is kind of a big message in order to really experience that burst of magic. So let's keep going and see what else needs to come through for the twins for the week ahead. We'll start on the masculine side first. So close encounter. The masculine's really working on quieting all of that mental clutter. I think a lot of them, I'm being shown the Eight of Swords. So a lot of the feminines in the beginning of the journey, we're stuck in that Eight of Swords mental prison until we understand all of the integration when it comes to the past life timelines. We kind of go through that prison cell of being stuck in the mind space. So I kind of feel like this breakout energy when it comes to the masculine, breaking out of the mind cage. you know, quieting the mind and kind of uncaging his heart. So I feel, get ready. The twins really are stepping into this royal energy, the royalness of who they were always meant to be. Great and full, a great big cup of love when it comes to foundations. And I think both of the twins are finally ready to step into this uncharted territory. There's going to be a lot of third eye activations, a lot of clairaudient activations when it comes to the visions of the future. When it comes to this heart uncaging, I do feel the masculine is having that heart activation. And this in turn is going to create that face-to-face close encounter for the first time in many years. So let's see what else needs to come through with the Spiritual Journey Oracle deck. We'll dig into the masculine first. Expansion. So this surrender and this expansion energy as the masculine kind of surrenders the lower ego and embraces the flow of the energies. You know, understanding that the divine's agenda is more powerful than his egoic agenda. And there's that heart awakening, the wounding. So a lot of these masculines entered into this very karmic, challenging relationship dynamic in order for them to be triggered, to recognize that this really was shaped from all of their past life abuses. And I do feel the masculine really is learning a major lesson in reciprocity. I do feel the feminine is stepping into rewards and compensation. And in essence, the masculine is kind of learning a healthy exchange with others, stepping into this new doorway, this brand new opportunity, getting ready to make decisions, to live consciously. So, you know, abundance lies on the other side of this ending for the divine masculine. And I feel the feminine really has been coming through in dream space recently. I know my masculine has been appearing in my dream space for quite some time. And I feel the masculine is coming into total ownership, total accountability when it comes to embracing this healing journey without filter and without blame. So I think the masculine will be coming forward to take ownership and accountability. And divine feminine, you're kind of just encouraged to be open to receiving the masculine coming forward. So just stand in that divine feminine power. Utilize your intuition, and you know, your intuition is on point, divine feminine. There is a breakthrough this week at hand. So release any fears of the masculine returning, because what you have been sensing is happening. I know a lot of the feminines have been feeling these activations in the masculine's world, being shown what the masculine has been going through. And we are right. This has been shifting below the surface for quite some time. So the feminine might really need to just rest this week to, you know, assist the masculine in this energetic healing process. So be gentle with yourself this week, divine feminine, because the energies are intense. And I've got goosebumps on both my arms as I say that, because we are coming into the manifestation of these sacred unions. So let's keep going. Transformation. So it is through the power of love that we have the power to move through all of these illusions. And I feel the masculine is transforming out of that illusion into this unity consciousness, developing his discernment skills when it comes to differentiating the fear of illusion when it comes to this contract. So we will see what else needs to come through for the twins for the week ahead. Willingness to compromise, really. So I think we're rounding the end of completion, and it is this compromising energy that is going to bring forward the dedication of these committed partnerships. So I do feel the masculine really is preparing to release any fear when it comes to coming forward wholeheartedly and giving his heart to the feminine, because the feminine's really in this loving essence of her very being, and it is about joy. I remember leaving a message for my masculine in the beginning. It'll be 3 years today that we entered into separation. So it is the 3-year anniversary today. My divine masculine came over 3 years ago on Valentine's Day with a dozen red roses, and my higher self told me it was time to cut the cord. I didn't at face value understand why, but I was encouraged to go and close out a karmic cycle with my ex. My divine masculine was not willing to commit to me. I actually found out a couple weeks later he was, conversing with several other women. For those of you that know my story, my divine masculine was cheating on me with a person that I considered to be somewhat of a friend. It is a very karmic entanglement for my own journey. And when he showed up here with a dozen red roses, I kind of said we had to talk, and he stormed his feet like a little temper tantrum toddler. Wouldn't even have an emotionally open conversation, kind of just sped away like a child. And it was after I found out about these other women. He unfortunately left his Facebook logged into my laptop, and when I went onto the computer, I found all of these messages of all of these other women that he was conversing with, which totally made sense because my higher self was like, this man is never going to commit to you, Laura. And so, that was very hard for me to turn my back on him. And it ultimately led to my divine counterpart having a heart attack and crossing over when he found out I offered my commitment to my ex. And he's never, ever had the willingness to look at that since. He's been running ever since. I know he fears another heart attack. But in essence, the blame game, he's blamed me for this for many years, because he's not been willing to look at where he kind of played a role in that heartbreak. And trust me, I died on the inside too for 9 months after that. I actually remember it was about 2 weeks after Valentine's Day, I had my last face-to-face with my divine counterpart. And I told him, I gave him my heart. I told him he was my king. At this point, I kind of knew we were twin flames, but to the extent of the connection, I really was not aware. But that was one thing I remember saying to him during separation when he's never really communicated with me. And I remember saying there's more to life than suffering. There's joy. So I feel coming back into the delightful, joyful energy of the beginning of this connection is kind of what I feel, because the masculine's not really acted in respect or out of integrity when it comes to his perspective of this journey. And, the feminine has her own unique perspective. The divine masculine has his own unique perspective. But it really is about stepping into integrity, truth. We've never had that honest, open conversation. He's not wanted to look at the damage he left behind. So I feel in order to manifest love with our every action, the masculine's going to have the courage to take action, to kind of come forward and return a sense of peace. So let's keep going, guys. And domestic harmony, I feel, is around the corner. But the masculine's going to have to follow his dreams. And I think right now he's really playing into those fear-based energies. So what other messages need to come through for the twins? Lots. Intuition. So it's about, knowing the difference between fear and intuition. I think there's a lot of synchronistic events taking place. The signs, the syncs, the numbers, the flow of energy is really coming forward. So, the feminine really has demonstrated a lot of patience when it comes to waiting for this union to come through. I feel self-love has been a big part of the journey. And I feel as the feminine really steps into this self-love, honors the patient and shows that compassion for understanding that we have our different viewpoints when it comes to the journey. Following that intuitive energy, this is where the masculine kind of deeply surrenders to these transformational changes taking place. And, I think a big part of the journey that is needing forgiveness, especially for my own journey, is the parenting card. The children that got affected by all of the lies and all of the sneakiness. And it's really time to bring forward that forgiveness if we're to embark on this brand new adventure. So we'll get a couple more oracle cards. Life force energy, personal power, because, there is an eternal flame that the twins share. And we're kind of stepping into our sacred purpose is kind of what I feel. So, that eternal flame. We are here to build that newfound ancestral legacy, cleared of all of the karmic baggage. And I feel the divine masculine is being electrified in order to find his power to take action when it comes to these innovative new creations that the twins are here to bring forward to manifest these new earth energies. So we'll see if there's any other messages that need to come through, and that's about it, eh? So the Divine Mother. That's where a lot of the masculines run, because the feminine reflects back to them all of this mother wounding. But I do feel good fortune and abundance is around the corner. Wealth, plenty and plenty of wealth. If the masculine can find his courage to come forward and bring that support towards the feminine when it comes to restoring the balance. So let's get some tarot. Queen of Cups on the bottom of the deck and the Death card. Oh my God. With the Lovers, I know for my divine counterpart, he went towards a Pisces. I really have a hard time with that Pisces energy. There's always that one sign that we hold a little bit of bitterness to, and it's that Pisces that gets me every time. My divine masculine is also a Pisces moon, so she kind of plays into all of those negative energies. She really does allow him to play into that self-pity part. My divine masculine is also a Pisces South node, so you know, addictive behaviors. She really kind of manipulates the masculine and enables all of these addictive behaviors, I feel. So I feel it's like death to the false contract, and there's that unexpected choice and love coming through. But we're going to dig into the masculine's energy first, see what needs to come through on the masculine side, and then I will pull onto the feminine side, and we're going to talk about these energies. Ooh. Yeah, there's that major, major power struggle with the third-party drama. All of the masks are coming off. I feel like it's a circus, masquerade. There is a lot of aggression surrounding the divine masculine when it comes to these blocks, these obstacles, these challenges. And I feel, yeah, definitely a lot of betrayal when it comes to the third party. I think a lot of the karmic feminines have found somebody else already and have been plotting behind the scenes to kind of backstab and betray the masculine. So basically, whatever your counterpart has done to you is now being done to them in order to kind of balance the scale. So I think a lot of arguing, a lot of combative power struggles with the third party energy, backstabbing, betrayal. And this really is to get this to come full circle. So major cycles, major lessons being learned in order for the masculine to step into healing and to take back his worth, to take back his power, to release these codependent energies. Because I also feel the feminine's been blocked from having to feel this shift. I also feel the feminine is protected. And it is kind of time for this shift to take place. So what needs to come through on the divine feminine side? We got that 10 of Cups. You're getting your wishes, divine feminine. You're getting that happily ever after. And I do feel the masculine is rushing in with a lot of truth, a lot of healing. I feel the masculine is very angry. He feels like he missed out on an opportunity with you. There's a lot of truth when it comes to the grieving surrounding the masculine. He's in the depths of the underworld because he did not value you. He did not value you. And, you know, you're full of love, abundance. You're grounded. You're stable. You are this nurturing energy. He sees you as the ultimate palace of love. And I feel, you know, he's angry. He's been grieving. He thinks this is likely a missed opportunity. There's a lot of truth as the masculine hits that rock bottom when it comes to that third party interference. The third party really did intentionally keep the divine masculine from coming towards the feminine. And I feel he's going to have an angry outburst because he wants to come back in and bring healing and balance. I do feel he's rushing in. Something tells me he's rushing in when Mercury shifts into Aquarius because he does want this happily ever after with you. There's a major shift in perception taking place, and I think you're kind of sitting in this high priestess energy. You're just waiting. You know this is coming. You know the time is now. You've been there, patient, loyal, waiting for the divine masculine. You know, many of us divine feminines, we go years of celibacy. We're not even able to connect with anybody else at that deep emotional level. Many of the feminines spend many years alone, working on their gifts, tapping into all of this darkness, to the keys of all of these mysterious energies and visions that were shown. And I feel this is the time where the masculine comes in and defends this connection. A lot of these masculines gossiped talked about us, made fun of us, played into the karmic drama and gossip. And now I feel they're ready to go to war for you because they want victory and success. Everything is being illuminated with that Leo full moon, and it's kind of time for the masculine to finally walk away from all of that dissatisfaction and to kind of walk the spiritual path. And there's that brand new beginning, because it's time for the masculine to stop with all of these self-deceptive behaviors. He's been deceptive. He's been manipulative. He's been going back and forth, playing games when it comes to love. And if he wants that spiritual union, there's going to be a karmic rebalancing. Justice is being served. So we will get a couple romance angels and then a few messages from spirit. So Divine Feminine, this is the one. Stay optimistic and trust. I think the masculine really is struggling with some control issues this week. So all you have to do, Divine Feminine, is to have trust in what you've been shown. Stay in those positive thought processes. You know who your divine counterpart is. There's no denying this energetic connection. So, you know, I think a lot of addictions still are affecting the divine masculine. And this is all because he doesn't feel worthy. So I do feel he's releasing that toxic codependent situation. There's no attraction there other than the addictive part, whether it's drinking, drugs, sex. It really is time for the masculine to clear that unrequited love situation. There's nothing left there except for the addictions. And I feel all of these romantic feelings washing over the masculine, and he's going to have to let this unfold organically. Because I kind of feel it's time for the masculine to come forward and really reveal his innermost self. So I feel, you know, the divine masculine is really kind of connecting with the feminine in the heart space. And the angels are encouraging the masculine to reach out. You know, it doesn't matter. We can come into alignment, and this person is always on the heart, always in the mind. I think the masculine's going to have to get through a lot of challenges this week, is kind of what I'm feeling. So there is a new adventure around the corner, but the masculine's going to have to step into forgiveness. And you're going to have to step into forgiveness too. I think the masculine's really been pouring into everything but this connection. And it's time for the masculine to speak up and be heard. The masculine needs to recognize that he needs healthy people in and around him. And the masculine needs to kind of get to know himself and the divine feminine all over again. I do feel the masculines are deeply depleted, very dissatisfied in all areas of their life because they've been pouring into everything and everyone except for themselves and this higher connection. I think they know it's time to walk away and kind of mature a little bit. Grow up is what I feel. Learning a lesson. I do feel the masculines are so grateful for the divine feminine. They look at you as this gift. Their heart's true treasure really is you, divine feminine. And I feel this is the week where the twins are going to be given the opportunity to do something over brand new. But what is the divine masculine going to do different? I think forgiveness is going to be key. And although, you know, we can forgive our counterpart, it does not permit all of the mistreatment, all of the lies, the deception, the cheating. But forgiveness will allow us to move into this new energy. So I think the masculine's really paying attention to the unspoken words and all of these actions of the people he's connected with. And I do feel he's looking at you as this pillar of strength. And it is your light that is giving him the strength to overcome these obstacles. So I feel the masculine's really needing to honor his physical body, his physical health, to take better care of his health. And I think this self-awareness is bringing forward this new perspective. So we'll get a couple last messages, twin flame messages from the divine masculine to the divine feminine, please. What would the divine masculine like the divine feminine to know where he's at? You've been in his dreams, definitely. A lot of dream activity, a lot of 5D activity. And it's that finality, finally feeling the consequences of his past poor actions. Yeah, there's that. Your intensity scares the shit out of him, divine feminine. But at the same time, he's so allured. You really have inspired the masculine. And although his heart is telling him to just do it, it's that fear of, you know, maybe not being able to meet your expectations, but, you know, this connection still affects him. And, you know, he knows what's missing in his life really is you, Divine Feminine. So that's what I got for the week ahead, guys. If you would like to book a twin flame reading with me, please feel free to check out that description box below. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.